Welcome to the Instinctive Influencers Podcast, a show where influence becomes one of your tools for success. Now, here are your hosts, Brian Weber and Ed Haley.
Hi, I'm Brian.
And I am Ed. I don't know why I leaned forward.
And this is the Instinctive Influencers Podcast. You lean forward, Ed, because you haven't done it in a while.
Yeah, it's been a little while. Maybe that's what it was.
So I looked through the archives because I know we've been talking about this for a little while. And we were like, hey, let's get back together. Let's start doing this again because we've obviously been busy, and we're going to cover that. I looked at it. June 14th was our last release, which obviously that's the Army's birthday in itself.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Before we go any further, though, today being the 6th of June, it's a big day in history, especially for guys like us. You want to tell them what it is?
Today is the anniversary of the D-Day landings. It's the 77th anniversary.
77. Heck yeah, man.
Because I was there for 75, so 77th.
Man, you've been in Germany for way too long. Oh, my goodness.
I haven't.
Yeah. No, so it's good to be back. It's good to obviously you and I, we've been sitting here talking for about an hour like we always do. And we finally decided to hit the record button, man. What we're going to do here, those of you listening and watching, because if you see those of you who want to watch us on YouTube, I'll make sure I put a link to the YouTube video, but we're able to record in not only audio, but also video now through Zencastr. Zencastr is one great system. I'm not like advertising for them, but it's amazing. I don't know how long we're going to get to do this for like this. Yeah. I don't know how long we'll get to do this. However, we're going to try it out for a little bit and see if it works. And if people like it, we keep going with it. So we've been on hiatus for a year. We've decided, hey, we're going to kind of change things a little bit. Previously, our episodes would go 2 hours sometimes, and it would take me forever to edit. And I'm like, man, this is going to take forever. So we changed the format a little bit. We're going to try to keep all episodes to about an hour. And we're going to add some things in. We want to start doing some good news stories that relate to the topic coming into it. Ed, what you got for him? Anything?
Yeah. No, I think the new format will be exciting. I'm a glass half empty kind of guy, though. I don't know about the hour. We'll see. I just know when we get on here, sometimes you and I get the rambling long, and I just feel like that we're going to exceed the hour. We might be able to keep it under the 2 hours, but I don't think the hour is going to be as strict as we would like.
Expectation management, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that, we mentioned we have recorded. So I will say this to the audience. We have recorded since June 14th. There was the last episode we released was 78 because this is going to be 79. I've probably got about 6 or 7 episodes that got to be edited and released. And I'm going to do that. But we just want to get this fresh start. We've recorded while I was away, while you was away doing something. I mean, we've done a lot of different things, but we're going to go over that. But let's, so we talked about, Ed, we're going to start doing this good news story. Do you want to do yours first or want me to go first?
Well, so it's not necessarily a good news story, but it is interesting. So here's the thing, right? So we just had Memorial Day, and one of my favorite films is Black Hawk Down, although it's not completely historically accurate. But so something I've always associated. So I was in the military during that period in 1993, and actually was slotted to go to Mogadishu. But I didn't understand at the time. I thought that, this guy went there to kind of set the groundwork for us to come, but he was actually tasked. So what was going on is, if you remember, Black Hawk Down, 10th Mountains there, SOCOM is there, a Special Operations Command, right? They weren't necessarily communicating and working well together as a team. So they tasked 10th Mountain to provide a LNO, a liaison officer, to go there. But they said, but he has to have a Ranger tab in order for SOCOM to kind of buy into this. Well, that guy was my executive officer when I was in Fort Drum at the time, Lieutenant Breen. So I couldn't remember this guy's name. So this holiday, I was watching a movie, and I said, let me look this guy up. Social media, although not always great, it's a good time waster, but can be excellent. It can have some excellent effects. So I found him. I found his first name, right? And he actually, during this period of Black Hawk Down, he leads the Malaysian forces, the United Nations part of the Malaysian part of the United Nations, when they go into the crash site to pull these guys out. After the Blackhawks have gone down, so he is in charge of the Malaysians. I didn't know this, right? So then, social media again went on old LinkedIn and hit him up, add him as a connection. And next thing you know, he opens up a dialogue, and we kind of went back and forth. And he's like, "Man, this is amazing!" So just kind of a good news story on my side that I had that connection. Yeah. I don't know why I just could not let this guy fall out my brain here. I remember President Clinton coming to Drum. To see him, didn't understand it because I was a private and I wasn't all in on the military. I didn't understand it was because he was giving him the Bronze Star with valor for combat. So that's what all that was. I thought he was just happened to be there and had a Ranger scroll on, but no, he was part of the recovery effort during that. And there's a podcast that I heard him on. It's like an action sport. I'm going to look it up right now as people can see. Because, I just want to give them their kind of... So I listened to an episode he was on this podcast that I'm not going to find now, of course. But it was what was the name of that dang on podcast? But, so anyway, I had to find it. But I listened to him on there, and his story was pretty good. I can't remember the name of the podcast. I'm sorry, to the listeners. But yeah, so that was kind of my good news story as a military history guy, to kind of find this connection and make a connection with him. And he said that my LinkedIn was very good. He hardly could tell I was still military by the language.
Yeah, you doctored it up right. Man, it would be good if we could get him on. That'd be nice. He might want to talk to us, tell us some... Yeah, not the a terrible idea at all. Edge. Man,
the podcast is the outside edge. Yeah. Episode 48 features Army Ranger Captain John Breen. So interesting.
Let me put it on my whiteboard. I see here the outside edge.
Edge, yeah.
And you said episode 48.
48, yeah. And it was their Memorial Day episode. That's why they had them in there. So it was pretty cool.
Nice, man. That's awesome, dude. Now I feel. So the show title, Welcome Back.
I got a quick question, Brian. I got a real quick question. So we're doing video now, and I don't know what's water etiquette on video. Can I just drink water? Do I need to duck off the screen to do it? I don't understand. Is there a rule?
If you were the staff meeting, you would know. You can drink at any time.
Okay.
This episode is brought to you by the Krekel. I'm drinking from my Krekel cup. Thank you very much. Do you remember who gave us? Do you have one of these?
I don't have one of those.
You don't have this one?
I don't have any of them. No,
it's got Krekel.
What? I wasn't.
You spent as much time there as I did.
The only way I was going to get one to go back to my Maryland ways and 5-finger discount it, and I wasn't going to do that. So.
Hey, Corral gave this to us.
Yeah, no.
No. I it's funny. You it's like we're not used to this video thing yet. So, and I see a lot of podcasters are doing it, and I'm like, let's try it out. I really don't care when we do stuff. It's called being human, right?
Yeah. There have been episodes we've recorded where I ate dinner as well. Probably going to refrain from doing that while we're doing video, though. But I have done it in the past. Probably won't
I always
have
knew it because I'd always have to edit. Like when I would editing, I'd be like, "Oh, this is where he's eating dinner." Because what would happen is I'd ask you a question, a minute would roll by, and I'm like, okay, hey, Ed, are you still there? And then you'd hear the click of your microphone muting, and then you can kind of hear there's still food in your mouth, and you're trying to answer. I'm thinking, oh yeah, this dude just ate dinner.
I mean, hey, there's a time difference here, and it's even worse now. This is worse than when you were in Korea, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Because I was closer to you in Korea. Yeah. I think this is. Because I want to say I'm 8 hours behind you right now. So it's 8:15 in the morning here. It's what time there?
16:15.
Yeah. So it's a bit of time difference.
Yeah.
But we're gonna try to make this work. We'll see what we can do.
What is your good news story, Brian?
Before we talk about my good news story, what I was running we talked about what the good news stories are going to be like really related to the topic of the show. It's called Welcome Back is the story. And it's funny. It's kind of like welcome back to that connection. Your story to me was like, welcome back to that connection with someone. I thought that was pretty cool. I like that. Man, it just kind of gives me goosebumps, Mine, you're not going to so much like, because I know how you are. I know you're a fitness guy. You love fitness. And I think it's funny how we've literally coordinated outfits. I mentioned it earlier. The both of us wearing our Dwayne Johnson gear. Both wearing Dwayne Johnson because we're both huge fans of him. Which funny, I just the dude fascinates me. I can't wait to see where he goes with all the stuff he does. I mean, it's just the guy is unbelievable. I follow him on everything: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everything. No. So mine's regarding fitness, and we've dealt with this COVID thing now for over a year. Things have gone from basically shut down. Like you all got shut down in Germany. We didn't. We got shut down here, but it was a weird shutdown. It was like a partial, and I think that's why America kind of got it took a while to start doing a lot of the stuff. So basically, shutdown wise, I would say we went through this whole period of things went good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. Fitness. A lot of people had to start working out at home and doing stuff like that. But they started opening things up again. And I'm big into CrossFit, but also gyms just in general are great. The fact that they're opening up these facilities again. That's my good news story. With it is I love what I said, the CrossFit earlier, the CrossFit Games. This is a big thing. And what they did is in Wisconsin, where they actually hold the games, Madison, Wisconsin is where they're doing it again this year. That particular county, they've had such a high number of vaccinations, and an astonishing high number. They're opening up the whole county, everything. People are coming in, and they're going to have live events again. So the past 2 weekends, Michelle and I have been glued to the TV through the weekend. They've had the semifinals, qualifiers that get people to the games in end of July, the last week of July. But they're going to open it up, and they're going to have fans again. To me, that's a good news story because it's like we've gone through this little dark era of like no socialization, no coming together, none of that stuff. We're coming out of that, and we're starting to see. To me, welcome back to life as it should be, where we can connect and we can socialize and we can be with one another. Because let me tell you something. You like it a little bit like I do, where you can just go into a little gym and work out by yourself and not be bothered. Yeah, but at the same time, sometimes seeing that person beside you doing a rep on something, you're like, I could do that. That feels good. And then you go and do it. And then you have those endorphins because you felt great about it. Those are the things we've missed. That social, or maybe somebody come over to you, tapping you on the shoulder and say, hey man, you mind spot me on this? Like you miss that stuff, versus just grinding it out by yourself. So that's my good news story is the fact that we can do that again.
I think it's going to take a little while to get back to the, patting on the shoulder, like, because we've been on guard, right? Like, we've been on guard about people.
Yeah.
And I think, the same thing, I was just listening to somebody talking about, do you think the handshake will ever come back? I think it will, but it's going to take some time to get used to it. I'm going to tell you, listen, I do a lot of traveling, and I do a lot of interactions with some of these other countries and embassies and their host nation militaries. And I got to tell you, some of them, they're going to put their hand out. And for me, because I know I represent the United States interest in that area, I shake their hand.
Right.
Now, I'm going to go to the car and, hand sanitize, but I'm not going to not shake their hand. You know what I mean? I mean, I assume some risk now, vaccines and all that other stuff, but some of them, they just, they put that thing out there, and then I think it's going to be a while though, because the other thing is, I think we as humans, I think that human contact is important. That touching, I think it's important. That's why the handshake's so important. I think that's why it's going to make its comeback. It's really crazy we're talking about a handshake making a comeback, but I think, maybe not the good game. The good game might be gone forever, but high fives, these other things. I'm so sick of this. Like, I'm so sick of, because people don't want to shake hands, so they're this. And I'm like, you're literally still touching me. Like, this and this, it's not that far apart, really. Like, let's be honest. Or this. This is the other one. This is the Army one we like to do, right? Hey, all right. Listen, I got a bad elbow.
The
smashing me. Like, So it's just, it's interesting. I think the gym won't be the same for a little while. But it will eventually. Here, I don't know about y'all's gyms, but the military gyms, so they justified them as mission essential. So they were shut down the first round, and then everything started to kind of start opening up. And then when they shut down again, they justified to the Germans that, like, these guys have to stay in shape. Like, these gyms are actually mission essential. So they kept them open. But I had to buy you couldn't have ropes. You had to buy your own ropes. You had to buy your own handles. You had bars and stuff, but that was kind of the limit. Like, anything for the, like, cables, you had to get your own. So now I have all these things that I had to buy to get a good workout. But so I mean, we kind of have had the gym the whole time. It is nice to walk in there now and not have to wear a mask and just go, I'm vaccinated.
No, hey, they see, and that was weird here, because in Carson, when I was there, they didn't have that stuff open. They literally just opened it up the past couple of months. And it's insane. But yeah, totally. And it's that idea of welcome back, man. Like, welcome back to this. And when you said something about the handshake, it brought two things to mind. One of the things that brought to mind was Simon Sinek talks about, hey, we have to have human connection. Right. And we've talked about that throughout, Start With Why or Leaders Eat Last, all that stuff. And he even talks about in his videos, like, hey, we have to have that connection. And and what that does is, the second thing I was going to bring up is, we often I wouldn't say judge character, but we can get a feel for someone through an introduction and a handshake. You know what I mean? Like, when you shake someone's hand, you can tell, and it's nice to have that. You know what I mean? And it just feels good. But that was my good news story, is really the fact that we're starting to congregate in large numbers and stuff like that. But today's show, Welcome Back, is about our welcome back to one another and to the audience to the show. The fact that we're okay, got it. I'm gonna hug my mic there. Yeah, but it's the idea that we're back on and recording, and we're doing some things. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of go through the timeline. I actually wrote on my whiteboard right here beside me, and I love it. Now I have a whiteboard. I'm at a standing desk, so I can stand up, and I feel like an instructor again. But I got my standing desk right here. I got my whiteboard, and I'm not as much anymore, right? They've kind of weeded that out. But on there, I put a full year, June to June, and I'm thinking to myself, like, man, June to June, we did some recording in there, but we didn't release anything. So what has happened from June to June? And I like to kind of go through and just look back at the stuff that's taken place to let people know, hey, this is the reason. We had a lot of things that happened and between the both of us, and it just it wasn't meshing, and we weren't able to record. And we didn't release anything, but we felt like this is the right time. The time is now. Let's do it. Let's get things back out there. So let's start off. Let's go all the way back. June of last year. Do you remember anything that happened to you last year at June?
So last June, I do. I had a birthday, but that was before we stopped recording. Anyway, post recording. So COVID hits in March-ish here. Everything goes into the lockdown, like March or April. Into March, and June is when they first started allowing official travel for us to conduct our TDYs in support of exercises that were going to happen in Europe. And so the first one I did was to Athens and Alexandropoli, Greece in June. So that was weird,
right?
Because a lot of bumping into yourself, like you had to, we got to get a test. Well, the test has to be 72 hours before you leave. Well, how am I going to do that? Like, where do I even get this test at? We were still figuring things out. It was so weird. And then, you need a health certificate signed by a doctor. Well, who's going to sign that? Well, there's a colonel, the surgeon. He's going to sign that. So you got to go, okay, figure it out. So a lot of my June was taken up trying to get out the door for this trip because the unit we were planning for was going to arrive within 2 weeks of us conducting that trip. And, it's essential, these trips, to provide support for a unit that comes to Europe from the United States. I can't remember. It was 101. It was the 101st came. So, yeah, my June was really jam-packed with, like, work stuff, getting ready for that.
Yeah. And it's, I mean, you're kind of going through that again now. Obviously, we talked about before. I want to reverse, though. You said something about a birthday. You just had a birthday, man. How old are you now, man? 40,
I'll thank 83? You did not ask me that question.
Yeah, what? Are you in your late 80s? Or?
Probably
You're not 49, 40. Are you?
I'm 49. Yeah.
Are you really?
I turned 49 3 days ago, so yeah, I am proud to be 49. Goes back to that gym thing you talked about.
To me, hey, you make 40s look like 30s. I'm just saying.
Oh,
so good job, man. Yeah. No, I can't. I really didn't. I didn't know how old you were, and I was like, man, I wonder how old that is, because I'm in my 40s now too, and I'm like, oh man, it sucks. So that's cool.
Yeah.
So let's go back. June. So I was still at Carson at the time, and I was ramping up. That was at the end of June. I was ramping up to go on my 5th deployment to Afghanistan with my commander, who I'll talk a little bit about him in a little bit when we get into the July through October. But it was really like everything was just like shut down. During June, I think I got quarantined because we were working on it was my first time I got quarantined ever. So we were working on the ramp up to go, and I had people come in my office one day, and come to find out there was a young lady that was in the office with her boss and another one that had gotten COVID, and it got me quarantined because they were playing this trace game. Like, if you were within a certain distance of them for 15 minutes, which we were, then you automatically went into a 14-day no matter what. So we were, I want to say in June, Michelle, I, and the kids, we were like hunkered up at our house. Thank goodness. One, we had amazing neighbors. Our neighbors would just like drop stuff off on the doorstep if we needed it. And we also, here in the States, I do love the fact that you can order stuff online and they deliver it to your house, to include your groceries. So that helped out. So June was like our experience. Yes. We're moving a little on. We're going to go through July. Do you have anything that happened like that summer? So, and we can do this chunks at a time. You can go July through whatever. I mean, it's up to you, man.
I mean, I'm at great on dates and times. So at this point, I'm going to talk a little bit later maybe about. So there's a great big exercise that they do here in Europe, and you can find out about it. It's actually happening right now. So it's open source, not anything people shouldn't know about. But it's called the Defender Europe Exercise 21. And this was major planning, lots of stuff. So we're talking about like soldiers from it basically is the United States coming over here, soldiers from the U.S. coming over here, training with soldiers in Europe, as well as partner nation soldiers across Southern Europe. So a lot of the coordination for logistic support, such as food and shelter and bus transportation from the airport when they arrive to where they're going to be staying at. That's all stuff I coordinate. So this is like July was major planning and getting the documentation ready for that. Long days, really driving that because we were going to start doing the actual trips for it in August, where we go and we meet with these countries and we validate what they can give us and what we need to contract and what we have that we could do with a green suit asset, so a soldier.
Right.
So July was probably one of my busiest months as far as planning here. And oh, by the way, first time I really was lead on anything, so I was still learning myself. Going, okay, yeah, no, that makes sense to me too. Yeah, sure. So yeah, it was very active doing the planning and working through that.
Right. Well, to me, from what we've discussed, it almost seems like it's like a nightmare, like the planning and getting everything you need done. And I mean, you're a small office of what, 3 or 4?
2 military, 2 GS, or 2.
So 4 people,
DA civilians,
and we're talking
and 2 local nationals.
multi-million-dollar like training exercises, probably with just tons of different entities that are going to be a part of it, units, organizations, just lots of things are going on. And it's like, how do you keep all your ducks in a row? You there?
Thank you. Oh, there you are. You were frozen.
Oh. All right, we're good. We're back on.
Not cool frozen, but like frozen. It's a lot of planning, man. There's a lot of stuff, and my thing with it, and really, so it's the bane of my existence. No, it's the biggest challenge, but at the same time, it's the most gratifying part of the job. Is I am planning for Joe Schmugatelli, who's coming from Florida National Guard, and I need to make sure he has everything he needs to be, a place to sleep, a place to eat, a place to, do his business, a place to shower. Yeah. I got to make sure those things are planned. I got to make sure I can get his bags and him from the airport, wherever they're coming in, to his training area. And so, these people I've never met in my life before, they're depending on me, and then they're going to benefit from what I've done, the work that I've done. And it's not just me, believe me, it's about 8 to 10 man team of planners that I work with. But they're going to benefit from everything we've done. Right. And never know like who's the behind the scenes person. I'm a unit, not a person in that sense.
Yeah, no, and that's what I was getting at. It's like it can be quite tedious in itself. So as you can see, audience, as we talk through this, that's what I'm getting at. It's like there are a lot of things that have taken place behind the scenes, actually our real life, and that's partly why we're haven't recorded in so long. I would jump July through October. July through October was I would just 100 miles an hour, not stop. We myself and my commander, we flew out July 4th of last year. We were flying overseas to go to Afghanistan last year when that kicked off my 5th deployment. But the thing is, it wasn't as long as all my other ones because I actually came back in October. So I left July, came back in October. And I learned a lot of things. I mentioned my previous commander, Major Blair Anthony is his name. So we're not going to, I shouldn't say that probably. Blair is, I would tell you, one of the greatest human beings I've ever met when it comes to officers, commissioned officers. No, I'm dead serious. Like, this dude would give you the shirt off his back. He's just, and the funny thing was, and I even told this when I did my, just recently, I did my change of responsibilities. We're flying there, and he's just talking to me. And I'm like, I just want to relax. And I'll tell you why in just a minute, why I wanted to relax. However, I wanted to relax because I needed, just to kind of whatever. So what I do, I got these Bluetooth headphones, I pull him out. I put him up. He's talking to me as I'm doing this. He's literally, I put him on my head and then I just sit there. And this dude doesn't, but he thinks I turn on music or whatever. I didn't have anything on. I just wanted him to stop talking to me, So, and he got the point, whatever. But what had happened was 4 days prior, Ed, 4 days prior from me flying out, I was doing farmer's carries. And I was trying to do like I was launching off, like sprinting with farmer's carries, but I was doing like 40-pound in each hand kettlebells. I was just practicing for ACFT type stuff. And I pulled my right calf. And I still think I did some damage. I don't know what it did. My calf, we're on the plane, my calf from right below my knee on the backside, all the way down to my Achilles was black and blue, all the way down through. So I had messed something up real bad. So I was in the most pain. I'd never done something like that before. I didn't know what a pulled muscle was. But what happened was when I was running, there were some kids behind me. I was running, and all of a sudden I thought, who the heck just hit me with a rock? Like it felt like somebody took a rock and threw it as hard as they could, and it hit. And then I was hobbling. I spent 4 days. I didn't tell anybody about it. I spent 4 days, like literally, if I wanted to go to my neighbors' houses and stuff, on one of my kids' scooters. I would just stand on this scooter and just scoot, like those little 2 wheels. Not like the scooter you had for years that I wish I had. Yeah, and icing the crap out of my leg, man. So that happened. I was definitely in the dumps. But then we get to Afghanistan, and you've been there before. Matter of fact, it was the last place you and I were at back in Bagram. Everywhere you walk, we walked everywhere, right? And so here he's walking with me because we stayed together. We were tied to the hips. I'm hobbling everywhere, and I'm trying to, I'm not trying to show weakness and all that stuff, but I was hurt. But we had the good thing is we had a great team that went out there from day one, they started crushing it, right? They started doing their job like they're supposed to. Now, do we have hiccups here and there? Yeah, that's what happens. Like when you transition into something new, you have those hiccups. However, it was definitely something that kind of taught me something new, and I learned a lot from some of the kids. But at the same time, it's like I know how this works. I've done this before. I know where we're going with certain things. So I felt comfortable. I felt really comfortable, and I think that kind of is what got me through that. We recorded, I want to say, Ed, during that time frame. I think we recorded twice, maybe.
I don't remember. Know if it was once or twice. I actually remember you being hurt, and I probably made fun of you for doing CrossFit. And then, and I know we recorded. I don't know how many times. Listen, man, 49. I don't remember. I remember we were recorded.
No, and we did. We did a couple. But I think part of the problem was I had like really sketchy internet, because I want to say there was one day we recorded and we maybe got through 5 minutes and then the internet just died and we couldn't anymore. I was like, well, I guess I'm done. And I couldn't even reply to you because the internet was out. So, so it made it sketchy. So we kind of put it on hiatus during that time frame. Plus, I mean, while I was there, it wasn't like I wouldn't do 18-hour days and then go and do something else and then have to go back in, 4 hours later, stuff like that. So it was definitely my time frame or my timeline was not conducive to doing the show, But then we got back to in October, man. Where were you? What do you think you were doing around the November, December time frame, brother?
Oh, well, first, let me tell you what we were doing more in October. I got evicted, sort of. So what happened?
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. So we were living in a house, and our landlords were like, we're going to sell the house. But the new owner said, don't worry about it. We're not going to move in until 2022. You guys will be gone. Won't be an issue. And so they move. They bought a house. So they buy the house, and the ink wasn't even dry yet, man. They weren't even registered as the homeowners in the village yet. And they came to our house with our property manager to tell us, so we wanna move in, and you guys got 90 days. Yeah, so now here's where the real dilemma happens. So now we have to find a place. We got 90 days to do this, Oh, by the way, I'm about a year from leaving Germany at this point. So when you tell your landlord, yeah, your prospective landlord, oh yeah, we want to move here. Well, how much time do you have left? Well, a year. No, this is a problem. This is not long enough for us. So we got lucky. So one, I do paperwork for an extension. So we requested to be extended here another year. And at about the same time, just before this comes in, the extension comes in approved, which is good. But before it does, we meet the people in the house we're in now. And luckily for us, they never asked the question. They never said, well, how much time do you have left? And so we didn't provide full disclosure, but I was pretty confident we'd get our extension. So then the extension gets signed. Now we are here for 2 years. So then we have to move. So, oh, by the way, if you didn't know, the military does not move you. You move you, or you pay to move you. Military covers none of it because I was already here. Regardless of what the scenario was that led to me having to move, they didn't care. So now I got to find movers. Luckily, my barber, I always love my barbers. My barber's husband owned a moving business and moved us and gave us a pretty steep discount to do this. So we moved, and then now we're in this great house. We love this house. So I have moved since we last officially recorded and released.
Yeah. No, hey, and to me, all I kept thinking was I would see this stuff, and I think I sent you a message here and there about it at the time. But all I kept thinking is like, man, you're trying to make a move during and weren't you guys shut down during all of Germany was shut down?
Oh yeah, we were shut down.
I'm like, how is my dude gonna get moved, man? Like this is insane. And then on top of it, was Tammy was back to work, right? Or was she getting ready to have the operation?
No, it was before the operation. So yeah, she was still working. Yeah. So I had to take leave. I took 2 weeks leave to kind of get prepped and to move some of the smaller stuff myself to save money on the cost of the move. And so me and the poodle moved a bunch of stuff in our car, and I don't have my truck here. So we're just moving in my wife's little Honda HRV as much as we could back and forth. So, I mean, it worked. Like I said, it worked out. We got fantastic neighbors, German neighbors, just the nicest people. So it's worked out pretty well. But yeah, that's a lot of stress. And I really had to use my resilience skills that we've learned through the military during that time, man, because I wanted to explode when they told us, yeah, we'd like to move in now. Like I drive by their house now, and I'm pretty sure I still go.
Welcome to the tradition of leaving dog poop in a flaming bag on your porch.
Yeah,
eggs are more than just scrambled. They also go on the side of your house.
Yeah.
So. If there wasn't a COVID TP shortage, we'd roll your house. But there was a shortage.
There's a shortage. I need this TP.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, but isn't that during the wintertime that you had to do that move?
Not yet.
Oh, it was
September. Okay. September we moved, I think.
Oh, okay. I got you.
But it was. Yeah. So I'm also during this time. So in August, September, and October, I go to Hungary, Austria, Croatia, and Albania. So I'm also going on trips for work in the midst of trying to do this move to figure everything out. Thank goodness for my angel of a wife coordinating most of it. I'm trying to move things around this thing, and it's like, oh man, you're killing me right now.
Yeah. That's insane, man. That's a headache in itself. But once again, that testifies to our timeline and how things just kind of got jumbled up, and we were like, crap,
it was rough.
We can't do anything right now, Yeah. So I would tell you in October, the end of October or midway through October, I got hit with COVID, man. Like I got hit hard. I got it. I don't know where I got it from because we had just gotten back. I was back not even a week. I was doing our reverse SRP. Basically, for those of you who don't know what that is, basically it's kind of like your reintegration to America and the way things are. And I got COVID, man. And let me tell you something. Nothing has ever made me feel that sick ever. My wife has been married to me for just over 15 years. 15 years.
Bless her heart.
I've never seen you sick like this ever. Bless her heart. Bless her heart because of the 15 years. Yeah. I spent a week in bed in our master bedroom, which it had a bathroom right there off the side. So basically, the door was closed. I had no interaction with my children. My wife would come up. She'd be wearing masks, gloves, everything. Give me some food or something if I needed something to eat. But we're talking like 24 hours a day for almost 7 days in a week that I had a temperature higher than 100. I was just going through it. Bro, I'd never, but it wasn't just the temperature though. My body ached all over. I got a real bad sore throat. So like I couldn't even eat like real foods. It turned into stuff that was like mushable. Like I'd try to eat banana, or I would eat like popsicles, or, just things that would make my throat. And that's where I want to transition into that was just, to me, that was like a time period that I couldn't do anything. And I didn't want to do anything. I literally didn't. I just laid there in bed and I'd left the TV on. And it sucked. And it kind of makes me look back is like, there's this vaccination thing and all this stuff, and people talk bad about it and good about all this stuff. And I was like, all I kept thinking in my mind, and I told this to some of my soldiers that asked me, they would ask, hey, what do you think about the vaccination? I'd be like, I'm getting it. And they'd be like, why? I said, I know what COVID's like, and it sucked. I felt like I was going to die for a week. I don't want that again. I'll keep getting it. I don't care. But that was my way to relate to people. And some people, they didn't, oh, well, it's not real. Because some people have, like, they would test positive, but they wouldn't be as sick. And I'm like, no, I got sick, bro. Like, straight up, I've never felt that sick in my life. I guarantee I lost 15 pounds because I couldn't eat and couldn't do anything. So that was a tough point for me. And then we had a lot of travel ban stuff. So one of the big things in December is since I've been with my wife, we have always gone home for Christmas every year, no matter what. It's always been a thing. Last year was the first year we didn't. We actually we stayed in Colorado and we did our own little family Christmas. And that was the very first time we'd ever done that. So it was like a whole new experience for us because we're so used to. Michelle still cooked a huge spread. I mean, it was amazing. And I'm like, I felt like I had still been, but it was just weird, going through that because, how lives had to change with that. We're going to jump forward. I want to go to January. January, something big happened for you. What happened in January, my man?
What happened in January?
Isn't that when no, am I wrong? Didn't you get pinned?
Oh,
in January?
Yeah. I want to go back to your Christmas thing first.
Go right ahead, brother.
November, as we've talked about before on the show, is the annual Haley sibling Thanksgiving throwdown.
Oh,
and because of COVID, guess who didn't go for the first time? So I have not gone before, but usually when one of us doesn't attend this, it's because one of us is deployed. Or the year my brother, he got married in October, and as we all know, weddings are super expensive, so it wasn't feasible. But usually, we're there, and we had tickets.
Right.
We had airline tickets and everything. Yeah, no, that got nixed because COVID got us, so we couldn't. And then another good thing that happened to us in November is one of our fans, Sarah, came in November, and we spent Thanksgiving with Sarah here. Skype called with my family and had some adult beverages so kind of like your Christmas thing, man. Like it was really weird too to not have the family. But I will be back next Thanksgiving in Charlotte, North Carolina. So man. So I finally, after waiting forever for my number to come up, I got promoted 1 January, which is also funny because I became a non-commissioned officer on 1 January 2005. So my first promotion as an NCO was 1 January, and my last will be at 1 January. Even that was weird. Oh yeah. Even that was weird though, because I did the live stream, and then I used the GoPro, but I had some connectivity errors there. Because where I'm at, you gotta have a signal to use the GoPro, and then so I lost that. You know, the people in attendance, it wasn't a lot, but I mean, I was fortunate. You know, of course, my wife, and you know, I have a very small group, and then I had like, I don't even remember, but like 200 chicken wings for like 6 people. Um, because one of the guys here locally, one of the guys here that we met since we've been here and become, you know, friends with, he runs the wing spot that's on the bases here as well as off post, and he catered for us. So yeah, I had like 200 plus boneless wings, salad to feed a bunch of people, and it was like 6 of us. And I also got a coin from the AFES. The AFES Sergeant Major gave me a coin, so that was also a good story for me. But yes, I did get promoted finally to Master Sergeant, Brian. So then you got promoted again too.
I was so excited.
We were neck and neck.
No, I didn't.
Both E8s, but now you're gonna pass me again.
Yeah.
You can have.
No, I didn't get promoted. I still have to. Yeah. No, so that takes. And you reminded me of that. That's December, because I found out December you got promoted. Oh man, see, and that's the time how things are going. Yeah,
it just got away from us.
I can't say it. I can't say it enough. Like how I was happy, and I even saved the date. Everything had a reminder. All this stuff. I wanted to watch your promotion. I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to say thank you, congratulations, all that stuff. Like I can't believe this. And I was stuck in a meeting during your promotion. So
that whole thing was a battle in resilience, brother.
Yeah. No, and I watched it because I remember watching like the parts of, like, you're standing there, you're checking the cameras, you're moving around, you're doing all that stuff. I'm like, man, that's a lot of preparation to be live Facebook feed or recorded feed. And I was like, hey, good stuff, man. But I'll put it this way. I was happy. I was extremely happy. Like I felt as happy you promoted as when I got promoted. I thought it was amazing, dude.
I mean, it was a good feeling. It was good to have my wife. As long as my wife was there, that was the biggest thing for me. And then, so the reason there wasn't anybody really in attendance is there was some snow that day, and everybody had early release for work. And this is the guidance they were given. Sergeant Haley is being promoted at 1300 if you want to stick around, or you can go home for the day because the snow's coming in. Well, what do you think they're going to choose? But luckily,
obviously, they're going to choose. They're going to choose to go home.
I had a few that stuck it out for me, a few good ones, and then of course the wife who was fresh. Oh, by the way, December again, December 23rd. My wife has, December 19th. My wife has knee replacement surgery.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, we did not know because of COVID. No visitors. They didn't care what your relationship was. So I literally dropped her off at the front door of the hospital, and she went in and had surgery. And then I would bring bags to the front desk to drop off her like snacks, or, you know, I think I took her Subway one day or something. So when I get promoted for 1 January, my wife is still fresh on crutches, still hobbling around. She was off, but man, she's a rock star now. So I mean, we'll talk a little bit more about her progress too. But yeah, she had just had knee surgery. And the other good part to her knee surgery story is, so the doctor tells her like on the 23rd, well, your blood counts are off and this. I'll come back and see you in a couple of days. And my wife's like, today's December 23rd. And he's like, yeah, unfortunately, the German doctor. So she also had to have it on the economy. She didn't have it on base. She had it with in the German hospital. Well, another doctor comes in who's filling in because of the holiday. He runs the same test. You know, he runs tests the next day, and he goes, okay, well, you can go home. So she got released on Christmas Eve afternoon to come home to spend Christmas here. Yeah. So then I had to get, I had Sarah help me like put on a thing for her. And yeah, we did it up big. The tree and everything was up before she went to the hospital. But yeah, man, like I had to clean the house, man. I had honey-do list that I hadn't done because I was like, she ain't getting out. I got some days. So yeah, so that was December. So now I think we can move through January.
Well, no, we got to go back to December because that's when I found out that I was going to have to move again.
Yeah.
So if we back it up, we'll back things up. I was in Korea for 2019. 2020, I get back. I have to move my family in 2020. It was February 2020. I moved my family from Campbell to Carson, so Tennessee to Colorado. Then I go away and all that stuff. And then I find out in December, oh, hey, look, you've made the list to go to the Sergeant Major's Academy. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. I'm actually happy about it. But I got to move my family again. So then we realized that we have to move from Colorado to El Paso. It's only about 600 miles, not too bad, but it's still we still own too much stuff, and I hate packing. But yeah, in December, a lot of things happen for you and I. You were prepping. Yeah. I mean, your wife. I think with your wife, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, I was on leave with her I was on leave with her for a couple weeks to try to take care of her. Like, you know, if you anybody who's had knee surgery knows, like, you can't shower on your own. You can't climb stairs. You can't. There was so much she couldn't do, like, you know, and of course then there's the emotion tied to it, right? But I had to be here for her, so it kept me quite busy. But I still got to go to the gym every morning. She knew I was abandoning her to go to the gym.
It's your sanity. Here's everything you need around you. I'm going for an hour or two.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, and that's. I think it was in your vows though. Sickness and health, right? Somewhere in there.
It's in there somewhere, I think.
Somewhere in there, you know. Hey, yeah. So that's something else, brother. But in December, also, I figured out I will have to stay in at least for 5 more years. So that is that. I'm at 22 now, so that's 27. So if anything, the Army's got me until probably 28 years. So I got some time. I got some time to waste in the Army. Of course, I've said it once. I'll say it 100 times. I love my job. I'll keep doing it. So until I don't love it anymore, then I'll stop doing it. So we'll go into January. January, you get promoted. You become a master sergeant. Prepping my family for our big move. Let's see what else happened in the January, February timeframe. I think it was just a lot of hustle and bustle for us on this side. We didn't have a lot of. They started opening things up here around that time. I want to say January, February. They started opening things back up at Carson, especially. And really, I want to say nothing big happened to me during that time frame. It was just work. You know what I mean? And it felt like my weekends were to my family. My weekdays was to my mistress, otherwise known as my organization, because that's what it was to me, you know. Matter of fact, Michelle used to call.
That's a way to look
Michelle
at
used to call this one. She used to call this one my mistress. She called it Nakoa, and how she doesn't like her, but yeah. Hey, you also graduated, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Not in January, but a little bit more into the spring. Yeah, I finally finished my bachelor's, but I spent a lot of January and February writing my 30-page paper.
30 pages?
Yeah. But the structure of the course was actually really nice because it was like, you know, this date, you know, pages 1 through 7 are due. This date, pages 8 through this are due. So it lets you build real nice. I end up writing this like long, lengthy paper, examining the leadership of General George S. Patton, Field Marshal Irvin Rommel, and Field Marshal Bernard Montgomery, and deep diving their emotional intelligence, their leadership philosophy, and their leadership styles, and doing like a compare and kind of show that despite their perspectives on the war, they very similar leaders overall. I was wrong, but that's still kind of the angle I took. So finally, man. Finally finished
finally
that thing.
Done. You got So are there any plans to go for the next level or what?
Well, so once again, my lovely Army has let me down. So I was not receiving tuition assistance because I had to pay out of my pocket because I had used up all my credits, right? So if you remember back in like February, the Army took down the current education site and they put up the new one. Mm-hmm. But the new one did not function properly for tuition assistance. So they did an exception to policy to allow you to get tuition assistance while they get it corrected. Well, that only counts if you're already receiving tuition assistance. It does not count if you are currently not getting it and you need to re-enroll. So I called the education center and the young lady told me this. And I said, you are ruining my day. And she's like, I'm so sorry. I said, oh. So to date, the Army has not got the system up and running yet. And I cannot enroll in classes start my master's degree in military history with a focus in World War II. But I need 11 classes. 11. Man. Just 11 classes and I'm done. Yeah. So I am going to finish.
And it's not, it's not. Yeah, people will tell you. I mean, I think a bachelor's degree was actually harder than master's. To me, it was hoping. Like the amount that you have to put into it. The level of work that you're supposed to be at, I think that's tougher. However, how long it takes and all that stuff, a bachelor's is much tougher to me. It's April. I just finished my second master's, so I'm pretty stoked about that.
Jeez,
I'm done.
At you.
I thought about moving forward. What's that? Yeah, see what you said there. I've got my eye on a particular doctorate. It's in strategic leadership, but I'm still kind of. I want to do what I'm doing now. Like so, obviously, April we started the move to Fort Bliss, and which we're here now. So we're on our next duty station, third duty station in 2 years, pretty much. If you could say it that way. But I got here early because I'm an international student sponsor. That's how come I got to come early because the class doesn't start until August. Yeah. But that's when the class starts is August. So with that being said, I want to get a feel for what the class is like, the workload, everything that's going to go into it before I start committing to something else additional to it. Right. As a first sergeant, I knew what my job was. I know how to do my job. I knew how to make my time work with the school and stuff. This I don't know yet. This is an unknown to me. So I want to feel comfortable of the known before I, go too far. So yeah, there could be a doctorate in the future, but I'm not sure right now. Right now, I'm enjoying my time. I have a lot of free time in a sense right now because class hasn't started yet. The only thing I'm an international student for a Saudi Arabian student, and he's here. His family's not here yet, but they'll be coming. And I've gotten to know him. Great guy. I love the dude to death. He's also an aviation guy.
Don't hold it against him.
No, I won't. It's funny because he's a proper rotor guy. So in our world, he would be like in a shop platoon, and I totally understand his mentality on things. And I can tell he's a good dude. Like he communicates well with me. He's very structured. Like he is like, okay, this is a task I got to do. I get it done. I do this. So I'm like, I like that. I think that's going to make things a little easier because he and I, the way they explained it, he and I will be merged into the same class all year. Like we'll be in the same classroom. We may not sit right beside each other, but we'll be in the same classroom all year. We'll never. So if you remember when we changed the new POI and stuff for BLC. Yeah, they did this rotation thing, right? I made up this whole thing where we could, you wouldn't be in the same class with the same two people, more than one segment. It's the same here. So we'll start off in our core group, and then as each semester we'll transfer, it'll all get shuffled up. However, if I'm with him, I'll always be with him the entire time. So that's kind of cool.
Okay.
Yeah, but the good thing is we made that move. So I got my second master's in April. We made the move in May. We arrived here back around the 5th of May, and then was it 5th? Yeah, was it 5th? It was either the 4th or the 5th. I can't remember. We only stayed a couple days in the hotel. We weren't supposed to get our house until like the 10th, the following week. I happened to be here. I told Michelle, hey, let's go drive by the place and see what it looks like. And we drove by. It was in the middle of the day, usually when the workers are they're redoing the houses. And there was nothing here. And I was like, hey, I'm going to send that. So I sent the lady that works at the housing office. I sent her an email and said, hey, just let you know I'm in town. If, you guys say, hey, you can move in early, I'm cool with that. We'll do everything. She calls me. Like, she probably didn't, I probably sent the email. 15 minutes later, I get a phone call. She's like, "Hey, Mr. Weber, I just want to let you know your house is available if you'd like to get it today." I'm thinking, heck yeah, save me some money, because I'd already used my 10 days of hotel stay, because the Army pays for you 10 days.
Yeah.
I'd already used that. I mean, that was my last day. So we signed for the place and we moved into it the next day. So that was kind of cool. Transitioning, though, it was, getting our stuff. This is the first time, Ed, I would tell you, I've had the Army move me only twice. This is my second time the Army's moved me. Usually I do a ditty move. And so they moved me. And this is the first time I actually have to do like a file a claim, man, because they broke my couch, bro. Like, my nice leather couch. They broke the support beam. It broke.
Yeah.
I think maybe they packed it in and they just put a bunch of heavy stuff on it. It broke. So I got to do a claim. Our microwave, it came out like the guy's lifting out. It was wrapped in something. He's lifting out and you can hear it going. The glass on our microwave busted it out. Yeah, I was just like, it was just, I'm not saying it was a horrible experience because things happen, right? It just sucked. And I actually have to do a claim. But other than that, man, I mean, things went great. We made a move. We're here. Our kids are in the school here. They're only going to be in school for like another week and a half, and then they get out of school for summer. But hot, bro.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Bliss?
No. Is that why you're doing them short runs?
Oh yeah, that's part of my train. Like, that's part of my training program that I'm running with right now. The 800-meter runs. Yeah.
I said, he's trying to get that heat, get used to it. No, but I was a hood, so I mean, it isn't as hot, but I'm familiar with that Texas heat.
I told Michelle. I looked at Michelle. I said, "Hey, Fort Bliss is just like Afghanistan. It's like being in freaking Bagram again. The mountains are out there. The sun is beating down on you. Every once in a while, you get a sandstorm. You never see rain. Like right now, I'm looking on my phone right now. 85 degrees. It's 9:07. 9:07 in the morning. Yeah. We're supposed to we're going to go do a scenic walk today. They have this here over on the mountain. It's called Scenic Road, and they close the road until 1:00 in the afternoon. So once we're done recording, we're going to get in the car. We're going to drive over and we're going to do a little walk with our kids because we like to get out on the weekends and like enjoy things like that together. But bro, it is so freaking hot. I worked out the other day. I was on a skier. My rower, and I pulled it out a little bit, and I was like, "Crap! I got two fans blowing directly on me because I'm drenched in sweat. It's almost like somebody took this bottle of water and dumped it over me. That's how sweaty I was. Like, man, this is killing me. But yeah, great place. So you've moved. I've moved. You've completed some achievements. I completely. You get promoted. I got selected to get promoted. Like, there's all these things that have taken place in this past year, Ed. Before we do an overall highlight and we kind of close out this show, is there anything else you want to bring up to kind of say, hey, man, this is one more thing. Let's add that to it.
I mean, it's just been really hectic and busy. And, I told the audience about that whole planning thing, and now I'm starting the next one. So they're actually working this one and I'm planning the next one. I mean, I looked at it, Brian, and I have done 9 countries since June in the last year. Like 9.
You've traveled
9, and for work, not even personal work. It's work, man. It's been crazy.
Insane.
But, you do get a lot of stuff in. I've gotten a lot of stuff done, personally, professionally. My wife, I mean, she is running around now. She's riding her bike. She's 6 months post-op, and she's in physical therapy again. They put her in physical therapy, but because it was the German physical therapy, they only paid for so many, sessions. So she's back and she's working and grinding on physical therapy. And, COVID changed a lot, and then it just made a lot of things super duper hectic, I felt like. But I got some positives out of it. I am the gym since the leg incident. I have run outside. Well, this week I've run 8 straight days now, so not fast runs, but since the leg, I hadn't ran outside like that since 2015. So, I found running again, fell in love with running. So now my life is balancing yoga with running, with cycling, with weight training, and then everything else in my life on top of it. So I don't know. COVID helped because you couldn't do nothing else, so you had plenty of time. But now with COVID, not gone, but now that things are going back to some level of normalcy, we'll figure it out. But I mean, my wife is super excited. We're 1 month out right now. We're going on our first trip since COVID, or her first trip since COVID. So taking her to Athens for the weekend. Yes. Athens is so beautiful, man. This is my third trip, but the first one with her. I love Athens. I love Athens. So.
Yeah, I hope you guys have fun. You brought up the whole you fell in love with running again. It's funny because just the other day, on your birthday, you guys went out to eat and stuff, and she took a picture of you. You had a beer in your hand, and it was just a happy birthday picture. Yeah. I looked at it and I thought, man, he is slimming down. I wonder what he's doing. And it's because you're doing all this cardio, man. Like, I'm like, he's not as broad as he was. I mean, he still looks good. Don't get me wrong. Ed. You look good.
All right, well, stop flirting.
Man, he's lit. Yeah, it's like, hey, I got to buy you dinner first, right? I was like,
I got to tell you,
I didn't know what it was.
Down. Since 1 January, I'm down 21 pounds. Since January 1st.
So what are you weighing in now?
I'm sitting right at 255 right now. So, yeah.
I was 255 once, and that I was fat when I was 255. You make 255 look great.
I am that Apple, I got to watch, and man, I am like my average calories burned is about 1,700 a day. So, from activity, the running thing is great.
Just from activity, not like your normal day.
Yeah. And my wife keeps buying me new shoes too, so that's even better.
I do have a shoe addiction. I know how you feel. My wife she'll definitely testify to the fact. Why are you buying another pair of shoes? Because I like them.
I just tell her that was 5 more pounds. I should get new shoes for that.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. Well, I mean, you look at it, man. It has been a crazy year. I mean, not just for us, for other people. I'm excited. You were right, Ed. We did bust an hour. We're an hour and 7 minutes now. I am excited. The fact that we're back on here, we're back to recording. We're going to start doing this stuff again, and we start, sending things out. I want to get this. I'm going to try to get this published as soon as possible. I think this one will be out there really quick. I'll probably do a Facebook Live, just kind of announce, hey, we're back in the rhythm again, hopefully, and we'll see where things go. Yeah, welcome back, right? And I keep thinking I can't remember which rap song who sings it. Welcome back. Oh, it's I think Young Jock. Or it's Jeezy. I think it's Jeezy. No. But yeah, I'm excited to get things rolling and to kind of come up with different topics. We will record new stuff, but I have a few old things that I may like trickle in there every once in a while and drop those. But it's like, let's keep it fresh. Let's keep it new. And then we'll see where this video recording thing goes. We'll see how that goes. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, we'll still do our audio, no matter what.
Other than that,
man,
hey, face for camera.
I don't have. No.
Yeah, you do. I have a face for radio. I don't have.
No. I'm just excited. I'm excited to do this and to kind of do stuff to inspire others also, maybe with it, instinctive influencers. We've talked about it 100 times, what it is. And it's like, we got stuck in a rut of doing our lives and doing what we need to, but we weren't able to, and I guarantee you, we both were doing stuff to help other people other ways, but this is our other way of doing it. And I'm excited to do that again with you. I have nothing else for the show. I just want people to kind of, hey, like, review, rate us, all that stuff. But how do they do that, Ed?
Oh, man.
Are you that rusty?
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, you can like, review, and rate us on your favorite podcast platform, whichever one you use that you can find your Instinctive Influencers on. And then you can go to the Facebook page and you can look for 101 Influencers.
No, 101 Influence.
What, Brian? Give it to me.
101 Influence.
Yeah. You can go to the Facebook page 101 Influence as well as Instagram. You can also find both of us on the Twitter. We haven't been banned from Twitter yet, so you can find us on the Twitter.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah. Yeah, and then both of us are there. So if you just we appreciate any feedback. I know we're probably a little rusty, so we'll see. We'll get the rust off, Brian.
Yeah. Real quick before we dive out of this, I want to bring up to you, Ed. You brought up your leg incident. I think we need to visit that at some time in the future. No one, a lot of the people that listen may not know that story, or maybe they do. I don't know. We're gonna have to bring that up because I feel like it was an important part of our. I don't think they don't know what happened. They don't know. So I think in the future, yeah, I think maybe that might be my good news story on one of our episodes. That's what it'll be. Yeah. Now, I'm pretty excited. Hey, the 101 Influence, that's where you find us on Facebook, and try to, leave some feedback on there. Rate and review. I mean, it's easy. Just write something out there. If you like it, you like it. You don't, you don't. You like something, you want to hear something about something, let us know. I would definitely say thank you very much for those who listen, watch now. We'll see you on the next one. I don't even have a call to action for this one. Okay. I don't have, hey, here's your assignment, do this, because I just wanted to kind of get the feel. Let's get back in the round of things. And I hope everyone enjoyed the fact that we're back.
You just gave the call to action.
Oh, I did, didn't I?
Yeah. We want our listeners to work on getting back into some sense of normalcy. What can you do to make your life feel normal again? That's a good thing. I'm here for you, brother.
Absolutely. I know. All right. Well, hey, with that, Ed, I am done with today's show. Yep. I want to thank everyone. So how did we I remember how we used to end this.
Yeah.
And you're saying, and I am.
Thank you very much. You gotta say thank you very much for listening.
Oh, there we go. Thank you very much for listening to the Instinctive Influencers podcast. I am Brian.
And I am Ed.
Have a great day. Be a legend. All right. Later on this one.